It's Friday then, it's Saturday, Sunday.
Comes in now. To a Jerem with a shot. Oh, this is
It's Friday again. It's Saturday, Sunday. It's Friday again.
Welcome everybody between two polls. It's a big one today. I'm actually really pumped for this. We've got not that we haven't had people a note. We've had us three, but we have one part of the new Jets ownership group, the Maverick Sports Partnership. Is that how I say it?
Maverick Sports Partners.
It is partners or partnerships.
Partners.
I don't know. We're all partners here, Maurice. So it's all
partners.
good. Maurice Bisetto. It's very good to have him here. We're going to have a bit of a chat later on where the Jets are going. We're going to win some hearts and minds out there.
Thanks, Gareth.
Not Donald Trump style, but somewhere a little bit below that.
YMCA's.
Is that how we're going to do it? Very good. I'm going to be the cowboy. He's the Indian. And, as we get back, of course, our other poll, I've even put my uniform on. I found the uniform, and of course, CT, the man with all the hard questions in the BarTV bib. Very good. Well, we'll get into it as we usually do, Maurice. What we normally do is get into what's the rounds gone past. Obviously, small round, only a couple of games. We were 20 metres up a scaffold the other day, CT out at Lake Macquarie, in 60-kilometre gusts.
Yeah,
nearly lost you a couple of times.
Blow a dog off a chain. That's the sort of weather it was in. And I've got to admit, I did check the specifications of the scaffolding. Had the weather, the kilometres per hour, 45, 68.
I saw you get down there for a little bit. Yeah,
checking it all out, checking the last dodgy service date. But no, it was all good.
The State Cup final, it was good. Obviously, you were involved. It was, I'll tell you what, extra time, penalties. I'm freezing. Wasn't real happy with the Edgeworth guys not getting the job done, which you could have done so many times.
Yeah, there was a good match. A lot of young players were given opportunities on both sides, and both sides still took the game really seriously, even though they've got big workloads at the moment. But I just thought it was a really good match. It was end to end, and it highlighted what both clubs have got coming through with their groups. I thought we controlled possession. I thought we should have won the game, and that's no discredit to Lambton because obviously they won the game. But yeah, we had the opportunity to seal it and we didn't. And good finish from young Tancheski. And
it was
once it went to penalties, it was always going to be difficult.
16-year-old on debut. You'd already left CT. You had other business to attend to, so we didn't realise it was going to be extra time. We thought it'd be just straight into penalties.
That's right. But I did see the goal that night.
Yeah.
And I was in communication with my new hero, Cruz.
Yeah.
I've been talking to him, over the past couple of months.
Yeah.
Whatever, just here and there. And we've done an interview with him as well on BarTV. But see a goal like that, what a cracker! And just especially that coming out of his dad. I'm not sure. Anyway,
he's definitely got his uncle's talent.
Yeah, that's right. Chris, if you're watching, that's exactly where he's
he picked it up just inside the halfway, and he dribbled well, and he just hit it. And it was the wind got a hold of it a little bit, and it was difficult for the keeper. But
it's a moment. He's 16 years old. It's a moment.
Great finish. And, they celebrated hard. I'm sure he ran over to his dad. Proud moment for his old man.
No, his dad told him. He was right below me. His dad told him to get away, and I think the words were something along the lines of "Don't let it get to your head and get back out there," kind of thing.
Couldn't even let him enjoy it.
No.
Well, late that night, he sent me a message saying that he wants to come on between polls in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah. We'll have to get his dad to sign a waiver because he is under 18. Maurice, I don't know if you got to catch the match, but we're just talking about a young 16-year-old kid getting his debut in the local state cup. It drew the game up and it went to penalties. But how good's that for development of kids coming through? I know we'll talk about development later, but 16-year-old kid to score an equaliser to eventually win the game. It's pretty good.
Look, the talent in the region is actually, I'm quite impressed. I've been up now for probably about 3 months. I was at the Newcastle Olympic Lambton Jaffers game on the Wednesday night 2 weeks ago, and they had some really good young talent. Our academy side at the moment, I don't know if you saw on the weekend, but a young 15-year-old kid came on and scored. 1-0 win. So they're 23, I think, unbeaten and 11 points clear.
Yeah, that's
in that league. So Zaney and the team are doing a good job. But the talent is there, and some of that young talent will be on show tomorrow night in Darwin as we take on Western United in the Australia Cup. And some young kids have gone up there. Nunez, Brocco, Van Dawson, obviously, has just got a scholarship. So there'll be some good young talent on display tomorrow. And even, I talk about those guys because they're pretty new into this sort of A-League squad at the Jets. But even the more seasoned guys like Clayton Taylor and Mark Natter and Kankar, they're still young guys too.
Yeah, they are.
And a lot of talent will be on display tomorrow night, probably from both squads. So,
which is good. And the Australia Cup, that's a big part of it, of course, on Paramount. Make sure you subscribe to that as well. But BarTV is the most important. As you are,
it's on Template.
Oh, is it Template? It's not on Paramount.
No, I don't think
it's on both, isn't it?
It could be.
I'm pretty sure it's on both.
I think you're right.
I don't watch Template. I watch the Paramount side.
No, it is definitely
same commentators, same crew, same company. Bad research. Well, it's on 10 plays, so get onto that. The other game we saw, Olympic Magic on Sunday. It was an absolute belter, wasn't it?
It was a cracking game. I was following both games, but mainly watched that one. And before the send-off, you would have thought Olympic might hold on, and Hoff probably might be a bit disappointed with the way he reacted. Beecham was all over him and grabbing him, and he copped a little bit throughout the whole game.
He copped a bit, but that's expected.
It's expected.
The big dog comes back and
scored a good goal. Scored a great goal. It was a really good layoff by Pepper, and at 1-0, they're eyeing third spot, but Magic are made of some pretty strong stuff this year, and it's a derby as well. It's a big one between the two clubs, and what a finish! Right at the death, Benson gets 2 goals. And young kid as well.
The celebration straight over to his dad, and then the team mobbed him. On top of that, and that's what it's all about, isn't it?
It is.
He's come out of the Jets youth system as well, and been a great player, and doing well in this league too.
Yeah, certainly are. They've got some really good young talent as well, haven't they? The Magic side.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we all know who they are by now at this stage of the year, but look, they just keep reproducing, don't they? And we've spoken about a lot through the year how at the critical moments they just keep finding ways to win, and Lambton have been the same.
Well, the good teams find a way to win late, and they left it late, and it's just they just kept on going, and it's a big win. It keeps them. Is it back on top or one behind? One behind,
but Lambton got a game in hand.
Yeah.
But let's not forget the Macedonian and the Greek.
Yeah.
I mean, that's at full play on the weekend, and there's a bit of,
They don't even say the team mascot names, do they? The both sides.
No.
Jimmy wouldn't say Olympic the other week.
You could hear at the end of the game on BarTV. It was a great coverage, of course, and I'm trying to scroll it over as far as I could. You could hear the commotion going on, but the camera just didn't quite catch it. But there's lots of feeling after the game between supporters and players and coaches. I'm sure Jimmy was emotional, but that's what we want. That's what the supporters want.
Belongs over the back fence.
Emotional, yeah.
Belongs over the back fence sometimes at Olympic and Darlington.
Well, it's a tough area to get out of as well. You might go out back and your car's gone.
And just give us an update as well. Obviously, the unfortunate and a sickening blow up at Western, that 1-0 the game sort of postponed. Or delayed.
Yeah, both boys have come out and not looking real good. Lukey Cullen, I think's a broken cheekbone and eye socket. That's from Ty Cousins, who I work with. They're really nasty. And the Western boy was having seizures, I think, straight after it. So, the decision to make was to stop the game at 1-0, and that will be played, I think, next Wednesday night.
So
last
replay,
30 minutes.
like, similar to the Jaffers game last year that we did their CT.
Yeah,
it'd be an awful thing to have to go up and play
half
an
Western.
hour at Western. So, it was a big game for Azuri. Again, they're going for third, and so...
So where does that leave you guys? Because you guys obviously had a bit of a hiccup during the week last week.
Well, it was I wouldn't call it a hiccup. The draw probably was a better result for us. It's only that we threw away the win right at the death.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
2-2 draw.
A hiccup.
Yeah. But the point is better for us because it leaves us 4 points clear of them. So but that third spot is up for grabs from the 3 teams. But if
It's
Missouri win that one, they're right there.
Well, it's close. I mean, we'll get Maurice, as we normally do, to read out the table as it is, get the bifocals on.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Okay, so sitting on top of the ladder is Broadmeadow Magic on 48 points. Second is Lambton Jaffers. I just love their name, Lambton Jaffers, on 46 points. Edgeworth Eagles, 33 points in third position. Charlestown in fourth on 32. Hamilton Olympic on 30 points, and Mr. Hoffman was late to his team meeting on Monday.
Was he? Was he?
Yeah, and in the office,
Yeah,
back at the Jets. And
Doing good things, though.
No, he was at the tribunal, I think. He was at the tribunal, that's what we were saying. So, shout out there to Jace. Sixth place, Cooks Hill United. Is it top six that make finals?
Top five.
Top five. Okay, so Cooks Hill, they'll need to get a move on. They're 5 points behind Hamilton. So it looks like the top five is pretty set. Not quite. Anything can happen, but there's a bit of a breakaway there. Seventh is Valentine.
People's Club, you've got to say.
The People's Club. I grew up in Valentine Street, so I've got a soft spot for them. In eighth spot, Maitland. Maitland Magpies, yes. Ninth, Western Bears on 22 points, 2 points behind Maitland on 24. New Lambton in 10th on 14 points. Adamstown, the oldest club in Australia.
That's right.
Adamstown Rosebud on 9 points. How many teams get relegated from this league?
2.
Oh, God.
So, but there's a playoff in the second last position.
Okay, and you play off a team from the...
Yeah.
Okay. And Lake Macquarie holding up the rest of the ladder with 4 points, only one win. That's been a tough year for Lake Macquarie.
You might get a cheap training ground out the back there if they go down.
Mate, nothing's cheap in Newcastle. Nothing.
Only the
Paid $7 for a coffee the other day.
Where at?
I'm not saying.
It wouldn't have been out at Lake Macquarie there, would it?
I'm not saying. No, George.
George looks after us.
No, I don't pay for me coffee.
No. I will say you've
free banana bread.
Yeah, well, we'll talk about your influence already because we went there the other week and free coffee. I've got to come out more with you because free coffees, free banana bread, a little bit of fruit.
No, he's a good man, George.
Costs to go to the toilet there, doesn't it?
What's that?
Costs to go to the toilet there.
Not
for us. Not for us, mate.
No cheese.
Mate, table one, what a spot there.
Yeah.
Right.
Good spot.
Unbelievable. Well, thanks to Josh for bringing
No,
over
you're
that. We're going to have a quick break and come back with the real hard-hitting questions.
All right.
Welcome back, everybody, and I tell you what, thanks to Bolter and the heaps normal guys. Don't know if it suits these guys, Maurice, after talking to him off air, but we'll go with it anyway. Any case, you're back here. The group has obviously purchased the Jets. Big plans and a big community focus. We'll give you a little time on the floor or on the bar to I guess to explain what the reason was for you guys to come into Newcastle and what you want to achieve out of it with the group, the Jets, and I guess around the community as well. Yeah,
well, when Newcastle were up for sale, when they announced Quartermenta were going to run the process for the 4 owners, a couple of my colleagues and Maverick Sports partners, we sort of own some other sports brands, so we thought we'd have a look at the Jets, where there's not, in the group, there aren't a lot of football people, but they're very bullish about the A-League, the competition, the sport. It's the most popular sport in the world, on any metric. And Newcastle is a traditional footballing region.
Well, you mentioned before Adamstown.
Yeah, the oldest club in Australia. Yeah, absolutely. And don't forget, there's only 2 clubs that came from the NSL into the A-League, which was Perth Glory and Newcastle. And so those 2 clubs still in the A-League. There's generational history there. I really like the fact that it's not an AFL dominated. I know NRL, it's a big NRL town off the back of the mining, but Newcastle is transforming itself in terms of energy, renewables.
But even the mining, you say that, but back in the day when it was just local clubs, people got brought over from England and played and got mining jobs and stuff like that too. So I don't know if the rugby league is traditionally mine, and I think it's the West Wallsends and
Western.
and out there, Western,
there's
Lake
loads.
Macquarie, all the coal mines out there. There's a lot of history, I guess.
Absolutely. As it relates to Newcastle, absolutely. I think one of the challenges our sport has, as in football has in Australia, and when you look at it globally, we talked about some of the rivalry and the passion between sort of Broadmeadow and Olympic, for example, and the excitement and enthusiasm that exists in world football. One of the key things that separates Australia from other countries, people say, it's the fourth sport, it's behind, AFL, NRL, cricket, and then maybe basketball, maybe football. But it's one of very few countries in the world where it's traditionally a middle class game.
Yeah,
A bit like in America, it's middle class America that plays, whereas in most countries in the world, it's a working class. It's really a way to get out and improve your and your family's situation, and so it's something that it's a challenge for how we market, promote, and grow our game. It's not, we draw comparisons, or try to South America and Europe, but it's not quite the same culturally. But we think the sport, the only way is up for us. The Matildas and Socceroos are flying, over 2 million participants. Newcastle, NRL, the Knights and the Jets, not much else. Big community, big sporting community. We thought there's really an opportunity to get the Jets to be, firstly, sustainable, and then off the back of that, hopefully successful. If we can do two at the same time and make them successful and sustainable, I think it's it'll be a fantastic outcome.
I mean, with such big participation numbers, sorry if I'm only half a beer down, and it's bid strength as well. So I can't wait to take you to the Prince. So with the big numbers that play the game, and indeed in Newcastle, it's probably the biggest played sport in Newcastle.
90,000 participants in northern New South Wales.
Yep. So which is a huge number, I guess. Obviously converting those numbers and getting the rusted on fans to keep supporting that's going to be one of your big development leads, I guess, isn't it?
Yeah,
one of the big projects.
It's a challenge, and it's not new. It's not a new challenge, right? How do you convert? How does the game broadly convert 2 million plus participants into people that go to the games, watch the games, outside of the English Premier League, the Euros and national teams, because they watch and they turn up for those games, right? It's sort of, the professional game in this country. How do we get it? And I think it's really about, you need to focus on the young kids and get them, the AFL have been incredibly good at, their Auskick program, and they've had great partners, and obviously broadcast deals give them the firepower to make it accessible. And if you're around in Melbourne or Victoria, every school's got pretty much free Auskick.
Yep.
And the experts do say that the first sport a child plays, there's an 80% chance they stick to that sport and become viewers, participants, members, watchers of the game, and the AFL recognise that easy. So our challenge has always been that: how do we convert, the strength in participation into the A-League? And I think at the end of the day, the more people I speak to, we need advocates. We need advocates for our sport. The number of conversations I have, CT, with people saying, "Oh, do you go to the A-League?" No, I don't. Why is that? Oh, because it's shit. Okay, well, when's the last time you've been? I've never been.
To that question, because let's leave the marketing and the promotion and the sponsorship rights.
I mean, it's the corporate media as well. When they own other sports, it's not in their best interest. Someone like BarTV. Sorry to interrupt there. To grow the game at a grassroots level, but the corporate media, and which includes its media and sponsorship and stuff as well. It all goes,
which is dominated
that way,
by a couple,
which is a farce anyway. Like the numbers for TV and whatever. I mean, numbers are inflated because it's only the networks that run the numbers, so it's not even real. So advertisers are going to non-real numbers, and I've seen it because we've done it, you know. So I think, you know, getting past that and getting, you know, a fair and just media that we should have promoting everything. I think that's, you know, there's too many vested interests in that side of it.
Yeah, I think in the last 3 months I've read in the media and I get constant texts from football people, you know, friends of mine and colleagues of mine, and even, you know, guys are in the Maverick Sports Partners. You know, it's constant. In the last 3 months, it's gone from, you know, APL's a disaster, they're broke, A-League's going to dissolve, the Jets are going to fold, too many knee injuries in our women's game. Courtney Vine gets signed overseas, so rather than celebrate, you know, another young talent getting identified on a global stage, it's like, all the drain on the young talent means, you know, the competition locally is going to be shit.
Negative.
Like, it's totally, and it's coming out of the same media network.
Which one?
It's the same, you know, that News Limited.
Yeah.
Is that them? I don't know. I'm just guessing.
No. I've seen it over the last 10 years. You know, with you know, being in the secondary level of sports, you know, media and stuff like that, we've seen it, and yeah, it's very biased to where they go.
Yeah. And I think, you know, again, there's no doubt the AFL, they're scared of our game. There's no question. You know, we are a global game. It's a global market for players, coaches. You know, the success that Ange is now having overseas and our other coaches. You know, they do have something to be scared of because we've got the best product, right? We probably struggled a little bit over the last 20, 30 years in the execution of that product, but we do have the best product. I sort of, the NRL I don't mind because they sort of mind it seems like they mind their own business. They're really comfortable in their own skins.
They've got less participation than curling worldwide though.
Mate,
it played in 2 states.
I think there's only 200,000 people play NRL.
Yeah.
In the whole
In the whole world, in the universe. in the whole universe.
Yeah, but they had 40,000 people in Vegas, right? Because
yeah.
it's a rectangular field, and one of the things I love about New South Wales is all the rectangular pitches you have, right? Because of the NRL and rugby connections. You know, Victoria, it's really hard to find a rectangular field because they're all ovals for the other sports. So that's really appealing with Newcastle. They're little things, but even today, like I'm now, thanks to one of our sponsors, I now have a car that I drive around when I'm in Newcastle.
Beauty.
And the number of people you see with football tops walking the streets.
Kids, you see kids everywhere.
Adults mowing the lawn in a West Ham top the other day, and
Polish top.
Polish tops.
Yeah, most likely it'd be Liverpool, but
No, it's unreal. It's actually unreal. It's a breath of fresh air for the game.
What I was going to ask you before,
Sorry, CT.
20 minutes ago.
This is the guy that's meant to ask the question.
Yeah.
Before we met, what I'm hearing a lot of is this community engagement, and that's why I said let's leave the marketing of the game, the broader picture out of that. Here, you know, if we start back at the KB United days, right through, and we go through the history and we look at the successes and the failures, it's essentially been a financial failure that hasn't been sustainable. Correct. And it needs community engagement. And you've mentioned that off air, I think it was before we started.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, or how? Like we all want to take part. Newcastle's a bit fickle because if your team's not winning, we don't want to go. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I've heard that a number of times, and I still don't understand it. But we'll get to the bottom
I'll tell you
of it.
why I think it is over my little bit, and this is my own personal opinion, is because there's not enough engagement. There's not enough ownership of, like, for me, CT. I don't feel connected to that. Yeah. Whereas if I go to Barnsley, which I've been to a few times in the UK. And I would sit, you know, and I'm in that little community there, and I've got a season ticket there. When I go there and the team loses, I'm gutted for the week. And I go to the butcher and he's shattered. Everyone's down like this. It's raining, it's dark, it's this and that. But if they win, people are almost going to say hello to you. In the streets. Yeah. So Newcastle, I don't think we've just had that. We've always spoken about it, but we just haven't had that connection. So Nova Castrians, how do we do this? Because it's not just us sitting here.
It's been so franchise driven over the last.
Yeah, but you look at the Major League Soccer, it's exactly the same model.
The franchise driven just doesn't seem to work. You know, like we had 4 owners. Like,
all right,
we don't even know who. who
But I mean, you mentioned
owns us.
You mentioned Fickle, the Knights last year before they went on the run. I mentioned the other code. They were getting 8,000 people to a game, and then by the end of the year they went on a run and sold out, and because they were making the semis.
Let's not.
They're starting to lose now. I reckon we'll get 15,000 people to the next game.
I think CT brings up a valid point, and I don't agree with your franchise model, because in 2017-18, if I recollect, you sold out McDonald Jones twice, 2 weeks in a row, sell out. Right, so they're there.
Yeah.
The punters are there, right?
Yeah, but
they're not saying I'm not going because they're a franchise.
Yeah. I'm talking about the last couple of years.
Yeah, the last couple of years,
owned by 4 other clubs.
Yeah, but they sort of help. That was a bit of a holding pattern until a more permanent solution came along. Unfortunately, COVID, right? So I think that sort of complicated things. The league had its own challenges, so things were devaluing and making the potential permanent owners less enthusiastic about owning an A-League franchise or A-League licence. And so it's taken, if Shane Matiski, our CEO, was here, he's been there since the new owners took over, which is 3.5 years. And I reckon he felt he'd be there for 12 to 18 months till new owners were found, right? So it's taken a while, and they need credit because they kept the Jets going. I know it was a bit of a holding pattern, and times were tough for a lot of, suppliers, staff, players, coaches, the whole organisation. But I think, to CT's point, it's there, the community's there. How can we get them to come regularly, regardless of W's and L's? Because Newcastle's a beautiful city. I was on Travel Guides last Sunday, by the way. So,
Oh, yeah.
No, I wasn't. Newcastle was.
Yeah.
On Travel Guides.
I thought you were
fantastic.
So
right?
let's go there, because we've spoken about this in the previous weeks. Is one of the enlightening things is people from your club. I've seen them, like Rob Standard was at that game on the weekend.
Yep.
Adamstown and Edgeworth, and he's not there, buying some chips. He's there having a look.
Yep.
And that's the first thing. Go back. I mentioned KB United before. You'd have 6 or 7 local players, one from Western, one from Adamstown, one from Belmont, Swansea, whatever, and the rest would come in from the UK. The Kenny Bowdens, the Craig Masons, the Peter Wills, all these sorts of names that
played for Australia, Ken Bowden.
Yeah. Oh well. Yeah, that's right. He did too.
What the club was named after him, wasn't it? AB.
Kenny Bowden. Oh man, he just one after the other, isn't he? Yeah, probably. If it wasn't, it should be. But the point is that there was a group that was surrounded by something different, and the times have changed, because the Poms playing in this league now is not that. It's not different, but back then it was. But what it did have was a core of locals, and that was the engagement part for me, because my auntie's, whatever, she knows, Keith Harris, who was a player, or Phil Dando came over from UK, but he, he's related to, and they moved here 10 years ago or something. There was always some sort of connection, whereas now it kind of could be like, all right, we signed that player, but we don't really know who they are. And if we do, that's great. But if we don't, let's get to know these guys, actually understand who they are. And the Knights do it pretty well, because they flogged the life out of it. But having said that, back to the original point, having people look at our local players. If they're not good enough, they're not good enough. But you've touched before on grassroots. This is a grassroots football town. Yeah. And we've grown on that. We've produced so many internationals over the year. But the last 15, 20 years, we've produced, literally, I'll be honest, we've produced nothing.
And that could, sorry, and before you answer this, that's a bit of a disconnect potentially from the local governing body to the Jets as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm not saying, I'm not.
Let's not put it all on Maurice.
No, I'm not on Maurice already. But what I'm saying is that if we've got an opportunity for our local players to play in this, and not just one. You know, if there was 2 or 3, we get that engagement, and that's.
Yeah.
And when we're losing, you want to get behind them. You know, like that Barnsley scenario, because the whole town's flat, because they are invested.
But it's Barnsley. You go for a walk on the beach here and you cheer it up immediately.
Yeah.
You know, like,
Yeah,
come
I know.
on, Barnsley.
So I'm just referring to the football side.
You
Obviously,
could have said PSG
their,
or something.
Their engagement to the community, you know.
Yeah.
And you can go anywhere in England; it's the same. Deal.
Yeah, yeah.
Just from here,
Look,
but-
I think there's about 3 or 4 things to unpack
Yeah.
in what you've just said there,
yeah,
right?
sure.
So let's start with the Barnsley analogy, which I like, and I think it's very relevant to Newcastle because there's not many, Perth, Adelaide, Brisbane, there's not many clubs that geographically, a bit like Barnsley, right? It's all about the village and the city and the town of Barnsley. You know, they're the sort of barometer for the happiness of the club.
Yep.
You know, and whether that's the All Blacks in New Zealand or, you know, there's a lot of happiness barometers that are sporting teams representing, you know, their village or their country. Newcastle's got a really good, you know, the Novocastrians are parochial. They do have their NRL team and they do have their football team, you know, and it's really, and it's a perfect synergy, you know, the Knights are in the winter, Jets are in the summer, you know, the family, kids, you got always some professional sport to watch between the two. It's getting that community engagement, and I think you'll see more of the Novocastrian kids coming through the Jets. The club now has 13 teams in its academy. It's tough running an academy when you're in a sort of holding pattern, so I think some investment can be made there to really identify the best talent in the region. We've given, there's 2, maybe 3 scholarships to kids that were at the Jets since they were, you know, Ben Van Dawson was there since he was 9 years of age.
Mm-hmm.
So there's local talent there and coming through. We've got to be better at nurturing it and getting it through the first team. We have a senior coach in Rob Stanton and his coaching staff. They're not scared to play a young kid.
No.
He's proven to do that.
Yeah, we saw it.
Let's
We saw
not
it
get
last
too
year.
hung up on that, because if we're going to use the Barnsley model, there's the majority, probably 94% of them, with a top plucker number, that are not from Barnsley. There's just that connect. We're battlers and you're our team, and you are the ones that are going to do us proud.
If they're not
You know.
from Barnsley, where are they from?
Oh, they're from all over the place. They're from Italy, you name it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, yeah. They
Kid
get
from
them
Australia.
Yeah, that's right. But anyway, the point I'm trying to make is that they know them and they own them, whereas we haven't really had that for a long time.
Yeah, that'll change. I think there'll be some visible change there, right? So Jason Hoffman's come on board. He's wearing a couple of hats at the moment and doing a really good job.
Yep.
You know, coming up from on pitch to off pitch role.
Yep.
One of his roles is in the community, and he'll be essentially managing 50 professional footballers into the community. Okay,
Yeah.
so we've got 20, 25 female pros and professionals. And 25 male professionals.
That's all right.
Before you said that, I was thinking, don't let him introduce anyone.
Yeah,
into the
now your
community.
eyes lit up.
Yeah,
That's all.
It's his community role. Prince Burwood.
And now look, and that those group of professional footballers will be seen a lot more in the community, and Jason will be responsible for that. So that should be really visible and tangible to try and, we're going to do our best to get to the community, but, Newcastle, Hunter, Port Stephens, Maitland, there's 600,000
Yeah.
of us
Huge.
here, right?
Yeah,
So
I've got Port Stephens covered. That's where I live.
yeah, I know, but you can't go out and meet everyone and see. But if we can get some ambassadors and some advocates, really, going down to Edgeworth tonight, say, mate, you should have seen the Jets game on the weekend. There's this young kid, Lockie Bayliss, who'll be playing in the Olympics this week, and he will. He's in the New Zealand Olympic team. So the Jets have got an Olympic.
We haven't seen that. We haven't heard that for.
And that's the thing. It's getting the message out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So it's a breath of fresh air, really.
So
just talking to you can see you got the finger on the pulse.
Yeah.
And the passion.
And the passion.
And the way we'll try and get to 600,000 people is really upping our media and social media and digital media in particular. So I don't know if anyone's seen a difference, but we're certainly creating content and at least, you know, putting out there something each day, whether it's a player signing. You know, it was the boys at Newcastle Airport yesterday getting ready to get on a plane. It's day one of training. It's
it has to be in our face. It has to be in the kids' faces, and you want to see these kids with the Jets shirts on, you know, instead of Liverpool shirts.
Yeah, and
Jets
the other
shirts.
thing we're going to do.
Have you thought about Rob Stanton doing an OnlyFans?
No, I haven't. This may surprise you, but it has not entered into my head at all.
You can only ask a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, I lost my train of thought.
Sorry.
Totally
All I was going to
Sorry.
say is young Tom Logan's doing a great job as well, isn't
Yes.
he? And he's a local product and he knows how to connect.
Absolutely. Spent some time at the Knights too. So,
He did.
you know, we've got even Ben Hawes who's come on board. He's
Very good. Very good recruit, actually.
He's
I know-
been
know-
at Sydney
know Ben
FC
for
as well. So we're getting people that really know sports and digital media and really good content. We've just, we'll announce it soon. We're just formalising our we've got a new content partner in Toy Box. So Aaron Haberfield doing a great job with all our content.
Yeah,
so
beautiful.
everything you see there is really coming through Aaron and his team. So, you know, we really think the best way to get to 600,000 people is through digital media and really cool content. And hopefully we even lift that, and we should see that over the next couple of months and through the course of the season. You know, we've got a very successful women's team, made the semi-final last year. Women's game going gangbusters. We're getting a lot of requests requests for information around partnerships and sponsorships, but we want to do the women's. Right? So that's really cool. You know, I think this is the first year we're doing sort of women's memberships specifically, and there'll be some more information coming out as the fixture gets released.
Yeah,
If we go back in history and we go back to Constantine's time here, and largely, I'm going to say we've had a big fail in Newcastle with our national teams, you know, largely.
with the ownership groups.
Yeah.
No pressure.
Because we've had some
But it's a
successes.
tough gig. It's a tough gig.
We've had some successes in there. That's what I'm saying. We've had a grand final win, of course, and you know the whole town's behind it, and you pack the place out, all that sort of stuff. I guess the point is we can have all of that without being, you know, winners. Like, what I'm trying to say is that this engagement for me, this bit that you're doing really well is really important, and if we get that right, and the community's involved, then if we're not doing so well, people still go.
Yeah.
Because what I've really seen, and again my personal opinion, but over the last or previous years, if we're not doing very well at all, which we haven't been, there's just no one there.
We just got to change that seat.
And we do have to change that, you know. So, and I think Newcastle, and staring you guys down the barrel, we're ready for this and
Glory.
Yeah, and ready for you know, just a change of attitude towards the way. And as you said, that the marketing thing hasn't really.
I just statistically, when we're doing well, the numbers are there. Like you said, 17. Of course, we were scratching for tickets. Everyone wanted to be there. But 1 year later, I was a member, and then I went and watched, and you know my boys are coming through. I want to keep going, but the boys didn't want to go anymore.
Okay.
You know, like it's fickle. It is fickle, and you can say, "Oh, they'll come," but how do we keep them there?
Yeah.
You
But
know,
it was, even the glory years with the squadron and stuff like that,
Yeah.
it was, you know, they'd sing their songs and no, Nicky Carl, Nicky
Oh,
Carl, Nicky,
there's
that
been
sort of
some
stuff.
brilliant moments. I think there's two reasons when we do well. Obviously, when we're winning, that's Newcastle people. We just get on board and we're just so parochial. But when it's filtered with some local content, when there's players there that we know, and of course, you know, the coaches. It's really difficult for the managers now because there's a lack of jobs in the league. So they come in and they just want, you know, there's pressure from owners to get results, and I'm not saying that's from you guys, but
No, Rob's under pressure to get results.
that's a question though. It's a question that people would ask.
The coaches, you know, it's a bit of a cliche, but pressure is a privilege, and all the coaches I've ever come across in professional sport, they put the pressure on themselves.
Yeah.
You know, Rob Stanton, he's a winner, right? He wants to win. he doesn't need me to say, look, winning is pretty good, right? He, and most coaches are like that, right? But, there's a couple of good points. The first one is, how do we get people? So one of the visible things I hope everyone will see is the match day experience, right? So, win, lose or draw, most young kids, they don't watch the game for 90 minutes. They might not, but as long as you activate them in a way that they want to come back, you've done a job. If winning gets you back, even better, right? But let's make the match day experience a bit better. And that takes investment and it takes a little bit of money. Now, part of, and I don't know, I'm just sort of guessing here, but part of the Jets' ownership history, right, from Con Constantine to Nathan Tickler to Martin Lee, they had, a very important thing, all three of them. A shitload of money, right?
Allegedly. Paper money for Nathan.
Okay, whatever, right? And then maybe psychologically, the Novocastrian community has sort of said, well, they got plenty, they don't need mine.
That's true.
Why do they need me turning up? They got plenty. Why do I need a sponsor? They got plenty. Right?
That's true.
And that's resulted in what's happened 3 times over. This next period of ownership has been, as I said before, a holding pattern. So you can actually tell the difference in terms of there isn't. Why would an owner or one of 4 owners want to invest in the Jets when they might as well just invest in their club?
Yeah, that's right.
So I think what they've done is admirable and commendable, and the community of Newcastle should be thanking them for keeping the Jets going until that issue of ownership will be resolved. But the bottom line is the Jets probably for the second time in their history don't have rich owners, right? And this is really a litmus test for the Newcastle community as a measure of how much do they want the Jets. Do they really want the Jets or don't they? Right?
So
because
is it a matter of just for Novocastrians to be turning up, or are we talking about something else here?
No, look, I think it's all about engaging. Like, if we could sell out McDonald Jones every week, the Jets would be a successful, sustainable club.
Easy.
I think some of our KPIs aren't ridiculously difficult in terms of when you think about it. If you can average 12 to 15, and they did average in 17, 18, 13,000 people, two sold out stadia in those numbers, but there's still decent numbers.
And if you great numbers.
And if you can get 12,000 to 15,000 members, you're well on the road of having a sustainable football club that'll be here forever. And you think about it this way: at the moment, the club's losing money, so whoever's owning it has to fill that shortfall, regardless, right? And that can last. But if it gets to a point where it breaks even, all of a sudden your options open up. You talk about, I think you talked about ownership, right? AFL, they're all member-owned clubs, right? Right? Now, you could never even contemplate that if the club lost money. You'd never survive having to go back to members to tip in some dough to keep the club afloat, right? Especially if you've got 80,000 members. But if you got to a situation where it was sustainable, we could hand some of the club back. And some clubs in England, there's fan ownership involved there.
NFL do that as
Bundesliga,
well.
50 plus
Bundesliga,
1.
That's right, yeah.
Right, so there's plenty there to, further that. Like, that's a further step to engagement is ownership, right? So we talk about, community engagement, like meeting people, talking to people, kissing babies, patting people on the back, and that sort of thing. But there's really more to it. And if you took it to the nth degree, ultimate ownership, fan ownership, and community ownership would be an incredible outcome. But we're so far from that, it's not funny.
So we really need to get to know these guys, don't we?
Yeah.
That's the point. We need to put them up, in lights and say,
And girls.
And girls. Yeah, well, guys, girls, whatever. But put them all out there. Put them all out there so that we actually know who the players
So
are.
I think the strategy that you've got around the digital and social, I think that's, in any business these days, that's so important to get that right in SEO and all.
Yeah, you would have seen Stammer's message the other day, Lockie Rose's message. I mean, that would have been viewed by a whole lot more people than if I bring Lockie Rose out to a shopping centre and
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
Or if you,
but that's all good.
or if you put it on even NBN television in a 30-second segment, it's not going to get unless they put it on their social. So controlling your own message, I think, is
important.
very important in the sports industry.
Yeah.
For sure.
And that's definitely something that we've cottoned on to, not cottoned on to, but pretty obvious.
You've got the experience in doing, obviously with the Western group and stuff as well,
and part of the challenge that a lot of people aren't fully aware of, right? So getting the guys out there sounds pretty easy, right? But then they have these contracts and they have a union called the PFA that protects the players, and their contract specifically limits the amount of attendances
they have to do
non-football.
Yeah. Well,
training.
when I played, they just said, "You're going here.
Yeah,
You're
yeah,
going
yeah.
there.
Times
You're
have
going
changed.
there."
Yeah.
Like it was.
Yeah.
But for me, for Newcastle people, we're down to earth. You might hear all that cliche-driven stuff, but in the last 3 owners, there's no way Tinkler's coming in here and having a chat with us.
No.
Not with me, especially.
Yeah.
He did actually try and sue me. So,
But it's a good start. I think getting around to the games, getting your face out there, getting Rob's face out there. I think the youth is in. And I know Damien really well. I think the youth, we're going to get the fruits of Damien's labour in a few years.
Yeah.
Of course, we want some results now.
Yeah.
The town wants results.
Yeah, and don't underestimate the girls' side. We
of
we had
course.
3 of our girls play against New Zealand for the young Matildas last week.
And will there be more doubled up games? Is that like the girls play double headers? Girls playing on the same day. Is that a?
We've talked about that. That was round 1 last year. We had
Yep.
the girls before the boys. There's
Is that a media
pitch issues as
based?
there's
rights issues and stuff like that, isn't it?
yeah, and it's also very expensive.
Yeah.
Like it's incredibly expensive to play at McDonald Jones.
Yeah.
Not that should be a deterrent. There's also a requirement for gaps in between the two games. You can't just go back to back, which would be sort of ideal. So
They have to
people got to hang around for an hour and a half.
on the field
Yeah,
and
yeah,
stuff.
yeah. I do
You've
remember
got your
that.
kids there, they get
Yeah,
their
yeah.
board.
Yeah.
And part of that, I was going to say before, part of that
And changing room
stimulus.
changeovers, right?
Yeah,
Because you've
yeah.
got, instead of having 2 teams, you've got 4 teams.
That's right.
Because
Yeah, so much more to it.
Yeah,
so much more to it.
but it's a great idea. Look, it's definitely something that we talk about quite a bit.
But just I think the fact you're out and about, and Rob needs to get out there and watch games, and just to see him,
Yeah.
it creates that.
Well, he was
atmosphere.
at the Newcastle Olympic Lantern Jackets game
yeah,
with me. He was at the game. He goes to most games.
Yeah, that's what's
When he can.
required, really. I mean, I think that's what people want to see. They want to see that he's interested in the community, and even if he was at youth games as well. Like it's. The
Not
right
just him,
people-
Zany as well.
Yeah,
which
Zany.
I know he
Zany
does. I know he does do it.
And Zany calls on the youth coaches around the group and asks for information. And I feel like Rob could do that as well, and not just only trust his team. Like there's people out there that can help him within the clubs, and because we all want success for Newcastle. We all want to help.
So
Rob
Zany's just
do well.
come back from the national championship.
Yeah,
So
yep.
he did the under-16
Yep.
boys for Northern.
Yeah,
That had, I think, there's at least 4 Jets.
Yeah, then
Yeah.
in the 15s there was as well.
Yeah,
wasn't
there was
it? Darcy Goodwin and
a mixture there. Yeah, he's going out and picking a couple of boys and bringing them in to train.
Yeah.
Because I coach a 15s group as well, and he's always ringing and asking about players up north so he's got his finger on the pulse, and I'm sure Rob has as well. And if people see that in the community, they want to get there. They want to help him. We just want a successful team. We're starving for it, really. And I think you're a breath of fresh air, and I just think it's what.
Yeah, well,
what we
look,
need.
it is exciting. I know it is an exciting project. Absolutely. There's an opportunity to leave a legacy. In terms of a successful and sustainable Newcastle Jets. Something to aspire to. Similar to the Knights in terms of membership, eyeballs, community. But I think, our sport and our academy sets us up even better than that.
I think that's all in place. There's no doubt about it.
and I think with the group as well, there's you guys have a sports minded focus, so and you've set up the academies in other sports and indeed, a couple of wider ownership group. I have done a bit of research. won't mention names because I know it is not confidential, but it's a part of a group.
Yeah.
And you're the face of it. But there's people in there that have good knowledge of setting up those academies and commercialising. And with commercialisation, comes support, comes the ability to sign players, not just from here. We all want players from here, as the guys have said. But the reality is, there's 1% of 1% of kids go professional. But
we want to see big name players come here. We want to be entertained and enjoy the football we're watching, the quality and. Of course we got.
Part of leaning on
that's
those guys as well. To how much influence does the wider group have on what you're doing at the moment?
Yeah, the ownership group, they're all involved.
Yeah,
I mean, we do have a really good team of people at the Jets.
Yeah,
really good. Led by Shane Matisky, but all the way through, we've just supplemented the team a bit with a couple of additional resources because it was pretty thin on the ground, and it's like everyone's juggling 100 things, and eventually something was going to hit the floor. But so it's a really good team. The ownership group have a really diverse experience across a number of sports and sports brands. So we talk about we had the strategy set before we even went in, and now it's all about executing the strategy. The other thing, we will only control the controllables. Again, a bit of a cliche. I love it.
That's all right.
Cliche, right? I'd love to have an international player come out, but the league's not in the best shape at the moment, and they've just cut the distribution from $2 million to $530,000.
So how does that affect you guys? Obviously,
well, we hadn't budgeted for $2 million. That's the first thing. But we had budgeted for more than 530,000. So it will impact.
Yeah.
It will impact.
I mean, there's big corporate companies here in Newcastle as well, and again, it's part of that engagement that you guys are doing with sponsorship. I noticed the other day a video came out. I can't remember off the top of my head, but Hoff and the young Zane. They were involved in that and bringing people, and the video was tremendous as well around the Jets. So there's obviously room for corporate people, and you already do have very good corporate sponsors in Newcastle Perm and the port, the Greater Bank and the port.
Ports,
and stuff,
Amp Control.
Yeah, Amp Control and stuff.
Henderson out at,
So for this potential, I memean, we're a massive show. We go worldwide. So for the corporates out there,
Mr. Worldwide.
for the corporates out there, there is opportunity to come in, and there's so many different options as well. To there's signage, there's
we have a lot of inventory.
Goals. There's individual player sponsors.
Yes.
It's a big deck.
We've got a lot of inventory there, and we're also quite bespoke. We just we're having conversations with our hydration partner, and all they want. One of the things they want is a testimonial from the strength and conditioning and high performance team. If you think this stuff works, if you're doing blood tests and urine tests
like this,
not quite. It's got different electrolytes, but quite similar. And so a testimonial, that's fine. As long as it's fact based, and we're going to test the product through urine tests and blood samples. Happy days, right? So we can sort of. If a corporate partner wants to come along and talk about the things we can do, I've met with everyone that's reached out. And Gareth reached out on LinkedIn. I said, no worries, I'll meet you for coffee.
Yeah.
Got a free, didn't know you from a bar of soap.
I got a free one as well.
Yeah. Didn't know you from a bar of soap. But I am absolutely meeting with everyone that reaches out.
Yeah.
To explore, and if there's no, if it's more long-term relationship, it's not transactional. We're going to try it. Absolutely not to make it transactional,
which is massive for this community as well. We don't want that. We want.
If you can't do anything this year, that's fine.
Yeah.
Let's stay in touch. We'll keep having coffees if things change next year or the year after. But it's about relationships. It's really about. I want people to say to their mates and go to shop or something and wear that Jets cap or say, "Oh, you going to the game this week?" "Oh no, I'm not." "Why not?" "Well, the A-League shit." Well, it's actually not. If you come along, I promise you. Now, the product on pitch is really good.
It actually really is,
Some of the games last year across the league. But, going back to the APL distribution, that's hurting, right? So we're losing good players. It's no coincidence that Arslan from City's left, Pena.
Yeah.
You know, there's some good players not being re-signed or not negotiating new deals because all of a sudden, if you've budgeted to get $2 million like you did the year before, and all of a sudden you're $1.5 million in the hole, what levers can you pull?
Yeah.
Right.
Crazy.
Having seen a few different sports, and this might be a bit controversial because you now are an owner of an A-League club. Do you think the breakaway from FFA into APL has been a good decision, or are we not going to go there? Or
no, you can go there. I don't think anyone. I mean, the answer's an obvious answer. That it's probably not a good decision, right? Because of the situation that the league and the competition finds itself in. However, you sort of. I think the intention was probably a good intention. Again, they wanted to mirror the English Premier League, which is club owned. Conceptually, you can sort of manage costs, because, the FA apparently, there's a lot of fat cats there. And so therefore, if we separate out, we become more efficient in what we do, and then we can leverage our sort of corporate and commercial strength. The strategy was around digital media.
That's right.
Right? That was what Keep Up was about. And I probably think, I haven't really seen the strategy in detail, but I think conceptually it was probably the right strategy, a good strategy.
But the execution, not quite.
Probably.
Not disparaging the people that are in there, but it does take, some high-level people to get that sort of SEO, get that digital content out there and get it pressing and get the eyeballs onto it, particularly when you don't have a great supporter in the mainstream media, I guess. So it was probably cutting your nose off to spite your face, trying to create their own platform, which, Cricket Australia's done a great job of, the NRL obviously done a great job of, and probably trying to emulate that when it probably wasn't quite there yet, and probably... potentially taking less of a broadcast deal for more eyes on the product might have been the strategy at the time. That's just me.
I'm not a media rights or broadcast expert.
Let's go here. We've touched some deep subjects,
Mate,
haven't we? You've been grilled by the polls.
Someone got their pants pulled down.
But
hopefully not me.
Mate, if we're sitting here in 12 months' time, all the things we've spoken about, just a summary, if we're sitting here in 12 months' time and we say, all right, has the year been a success? And we say yes. Why has it been a success?
Yeah,
what have we done?
That's we, as in BarTV.
No, the club. No,
I'm
the
talking
Jets
about.
club.
I'm talking about.
He's talking about the Nova Cash rings.
and then the league. So we'll start off with the Nova Cash rings first.
Let's park the league, right?
Yep.
Let's measure. Let's try and measure success for the Jets, right?
Yep.
What have we, when we're having this conversation, what have we done well in the coming 12 months that will be?
Well, what we've done well, we, the Jets, have engaged well with the community. So, at the end of the day, if our bums on seats are up, men and women, that's success, right? Now, how far up, we can put some measures in, but that's a really good thing. If our memberships are up, right, that's also success, right? Now, again, we can have measures as to how far up. I think when it comes to membership too, one of the things, some of the data that we've looked at is each year about 30% of members drop off, which is a big number. Right? So AFL memberships, it's about 4% that drop off. So 96% renew memberships.
Yeah, wow.
Right? So very, very sticky product, an AFL membership. I don't understand the 30%, but if we can retain more members, right, and just build off that base and not lose memberships. We talked about our partners before, right? If we can increase our commercial partnerships and have more partners coming out of the community from a corporate point of view, that's also success. Having said that, the partners that the club's had, like an Inspiration Paints, it's been there, this is their 10th year.
Well, that's who I saw.
Greater Bank, 10th year, through tough times.
Yeah.
Sticking in there.
Yep.
And when the media is talking about, is there going to be a club? right? And you're a sponsor and you're about to tip in $100,000 to be a sponsor, and you don't know if they're going to be around in a month's time. You know what I mean? They've been incredibly supportive, and obviously we'll be out there trying to grow our group of partners, sponsors, providers, suppliers, whatever you want to call them, because there's strength in numbers, and the more we have, bound together, the better off we'll be. So that will also be a measure of success. Longer term, I think how many academy products we can get into our senior squad is a really important metric, because that will drive to the heart of community and seeing young Novocastrians coming up into the senior team, and hopefully overseas, moving on to big careers. Yeah. The next Craig Johnson, for example. We haven't had too many; we've had a few. That will also be a measure of success, and then ultimately, the ultimate dream would be to have a centre of excellence where we have all our boy and girl academy teams. We have our pre-academy community kids coming through, our senior men and senior women training at the moment, Maitland, number 2, McDonald Jones, Spears Point, it's
scattered.
So a lot of work to do.
It's a lot of driving. There's a lot of driving to be done.
And you haven't mentioned the big, the BarTV big lounge, where people come and sit between the poles on the hill. That could be a feature.
Yeah.
Look, there's a lot of things that you've covered off.
Sounds good.
You can
What have I just committed to?
It's pretty heavy this thing.
I'm pretty good on the commentary. If you need a commentator on the weekend,
definitely. We'll definitely get you in.
That'd be actually good fun.
Well, so I mean, you just spoke about all the different grounds and stuff. There is McDonald Jones, the end game. I know you've had some good success in securing stadiums and with the Western Ventures. Is that something potentially you would look at, because infrastructure, ownership, it's a big driver in American sports, and it adds value to a club as well. So is that something you look at?
It's a bloody good question. Look, I think the situation in Victoria is slightly different, and so the need for rectangular football-specific fields is infrastructure is just way down across the state, right?
Yeah.
So you guys are a little bit better off. I'll tell you, I'll go on a side. Just remind me, I'm going to go off on a tangent in a minute. But,
I thought you'd answer that question.
Are we going to eventually own our own? The answer to that's probably no. I think McDonald Jones is a great stadium.
Yeah.
Right? The fact that it's incredibly expensive is a different matter, but it's expensive because we only have 5,000 or 6,000 people. In a 30,000 seater stadium.
And that's run by Stadiums New South Wales.
Venues
New South Wales.
Venues New South Wales. So they run most of the the big football stadiums.
Yep.
So, but all of a sudden, if we could get 12 to 15, our commercial arrangement with stadiums pretty good, right?
Are we a swinging seat at the moment? Because that might help in the next election for our political viewers out there.
Yeah, you're not.
No.
You're not.
No, we are
I don't
now.
get politics.
No. Where it's a bit tighter is Maitland.
Yeah.
So Maitland Sports Ground and Maitland Council, they're incredibly supportive. Not suggesting Newcastle Council isn't.
Yeah.
Because obviously we play at number 2 as well, and venues they're sort of willing to work with us to get the right solution, because they want a successful Jets too.
Of course, yeah. I mean,
because if the Jets weren't around, they've only got the Knights and a couple of concerts. Yeah, there's not enough content for
a summer.
for a stadium like that, built with taxpayer money.
Yeah.
So, they're under pressure to get the returns to taxpayers in terms of fully utilising that asset. And Jets are an important part of that. So. But Maitland, we're trying to get Maitland Sports Ground accredited by the APL to play A-League games.
Oh, awesome. So, cool.
Because the 7,000 the girls had when they played Melbourne City at Maitland, I don't know if you saw it, but it was fantastic, and the broadcast looked great. 7,000. It was pretty packed. You couldn't hold really too many more in there.
What you need to do too is get on a Transport New South Wales and get a specific train from Wickham to Maitland for the day, and I know it can be done because friends at Maitland Rugby Club, I know they're big fans of this show.
The Pickers?
No, the rugby club, the Blacks. So every Scone Cup,
Rugby NRL.
Every Scone Cup, they hire 2 trains from Maitland to Scone, just the club itself. So I know it can be done, which would be awesome. To ferry people up there.
Well, we had a long
like
conversation as a team yesterday. Obviously, Unite round. I don't know if you guys are aware, but they've taken a home game. The APL, they've taken a home game to the Jets, and they've moved it to Sydney, and we're playing Central Coast.
Yeah, right.
In Sydney as part of Unite round.
Yeah.
From a financial point of view, is a bit of a hit because if we're ever going to at least break even in a game,
It's that one.
that's one of the key ones.
Yeah.
But it also says something about the Jets and the Mariners and the F3 Derby.
It's a derby, yeah.
And it's when you look at the fixture for Unite round, there are 2 crown jewel games, and the Jets are one of them.
You definitely should call Transport New South Wales.
Well, we're talking about doing something for the members.
Don't stop at Woi Woi though.
Yeah, we're talking about doing something for the members.
Yeah, which would be awesome.
Which is either, maybe run some buses or, do something maybe because the girls are playing on the Saturday. So if members want to come down and stay down, we might do a combined, men's and women's, like get together, signing, meet the members type thing. So we're just throwing up some ideas around that at the moment. So.
Well, I think we've spoken enough, and we really appreciate your time.
I appreciate the airtime you've given the Jets.
Really cool. Probably you are our biggest name guest we've had for the year so far, apart from CT. We're going to take a quick break.
Must be a very poor lineup.
We're going to put you on the spot one more time for the rest of the round.
Okay.
Welcome back, everybody, and it is match day 20. Only a couple of games left in the competition, and it's heating up. A couple of spots up for grab potentially this weekend. You mentioned before Cooks Hill need to get the cookers on because they need a couple more points.
5 points behind.
Newcastle and they need results to go their way. And I mean, Olympic. Look at the old soothsayer over here. The prophet CT said they'd sneak into the 5, and they were your smoky at the start of the year. It looks like you're potentially right there, CT.
Yeah, they've got some great players in the squad, and I just hadn't felt like they'd really started to click as a group, and got a couple of players come in, one that you know well, and
Hoffy.
I mean, he's been unbelievable, really, hasn't he?
He has. He's just been a standout, and they've had Reece Cooper come back into the side as well, and I rate him highly.
Jacob Pepper as well had a fair bit of time off this year.
So all these 3 additions are going to make a difference to any side.
Well, anyway, they're playing at New Lambton this weekend, Saturday. Who are we thinking there?
Yeah,
Hoffy's out.
Yeah, I think Olympic will get that job done.
Very good. Gaz?
Yeah, I think Olympic, for the same reasons. CT, they just they got things in order since they've got these players in. Hoff's a great guy, and I think New Lambton are nearly safe anyway, so they might be just flattening out a bit. And
they got up for a little bit, didn't they, for a few weeks? And
so Olympic.
Yeah, Olympic to play for semi. So who do you think?
I'm got a soft spot for Olympic.
Is that your home team
Well,
when you're in town?
When Hoffy went there, and I've met George Sofianos from Red Funnel. He actually took me to lunch last Thursday.
Oh, did he? Beauty.
Yeah. In Lambton there.
Good on you, George.
So, yeah.
Gee, you're getting around the town too, aren't you? I like it. I like it. Getting out of
I've got a soft spot for Olympic. So they hosted me down there on the Wednesday night, showed me the new digs.
Yeah, it's good.
It's
great
it's facilities
really
there
nice.
now.
Yeah, really nice. They've done a good job. So, and obviously, Hoffy's gone there. So, good luck to Olympic this week. I'm tipping them.
Yep, rightio. Well, I'm going to say New Lambton then because everyone else has said Olympic.
Do I win? If I get all the tips right, do I win something? Is there anything at stake here?
We'll get you. We'll get you.
No, I want that jet shirt. No, that one.
Well, we're going to say a big thank you as well. I was going to mention it at the end of the broadcast. You've given us a beautiful signed jersey and the gold jerseys. There too, so we really do appreciate that stuff. And
you're welcome.
Yeah. That's engaging the community. Sure. If you see it on Gumtree, it's in. Edgeworth.
Pay for it.
Edgeworth v Lake Macquarie. Tough game out at Jack McLaughlin. We got any rain coming this weekend?
Nah. Well, I think the ground's looking good.
The ground is
The
looking
boys
good.
trained last night, and they should win that one. Lake's been a tough 2 months really. There was a little bit of hope from early on there, and Presto's worked really hard with them, but the edgy are going well. It's a tough schedule just before we go to Perth, but I think they just
I haven't seen too many edgy games this year, but obviously saw Seth Clark really impressive. Are you guys playing tomorrow? I think
we play New Lambton tomorrow night.
Yeah, right.
So it might be a good chance to get over and look at a very good
I
footballer.
can't.
Or Rob to come over.
he might be able to watch it on BarTV.
He's in Darwin.
Is he?
right.
Yeah.
Ben
We'll
Homer
send
and
him.
myself will be there.
Oh, you've broken ranks. Have your CT.
Oh right.
Gone
Is there a
back to-
midweek game?
Is
Gone
there a
back to foundation.
midweek game?
Wow.
What is there? What?
No, BarTV will be there.
Jeez, I can feel the knives right here.
Oh no, it's not that. It's like your fourth son. You can't get rid of him.
Yeah.
just
Betty
keeps
does.
coming back.
Betty does an awesome job.
Halfway through the second half, CT's going to go, do the coaches know what they're doing?
Yeah, that's it.
No, really good player in Seth Clark.
Oh,
We've spoken
he's
about
good.
him. He's a Kiwi young international, and probably one of the better players I've seen in this league for quite a few years.
I was going to mention him earlier before Gaz because
I'm sure Rob's probably had a look at him at some point. So
yeah, no doubt. But this game on the weekend, where I've been really impressed with Seth through the season, but a windy day like we had, and that surface is different. And given that he's been on the surface before, but to be able to control the football, control the game, being it as much as he was on a day like that,
he's devastating with the ball.
Position?
He's a midfielder, 10. Yeah, wide. Yeah.
Well, he played
exciting player.
Transition
really
well,
exciting player.
And he's scoring goals. And I picked this up on the weekend. I like the fact that wherever the player is, the ball's on the other side of him, and you can't seem to get him.
He's a match winner at this level. I think if he was given an opportunity. Yeah. For me, who I've watched lots of footballers, I think he's got what it takes.
Look, if I've met him
wherever
once,
he heads, I'm not sure.
you know him, but I don't. But
good footballer, young as well.
Anyway.
So you're going to say Edgeworth?
Yeah.
Edgeworth, Lake Macquarie?
The second win of the year is a bit of a long bow, so I'll go Edgeworth.
I'm a big team pre-Preston man, so we'll say Lake Macquarie.
You're this way at the bottom of the ladder of our teams, mate.
Yeah, I definitely am. Cooks Hill, Maitland. Ooh, interesting.
It's a big game.
This is a big game, isn't it? Cooks Hill. I mean, I want him to make the semis. I really do. I think Zorro. He's done a great job with them. Young Dan Caro, playing unbelievable. Probably going to be the leading goal scorer in the comp. They deserve to be in the top 5. If any, can you say they deserve to?
Well,
you got to earn your way in there.
If they win their last few games, they deserve it. But,
and they've had a slow start to the season. You can't have a slow start.
I think they might just miss out, but they're going to take some scalps in the last few weeks. I think.
And Bolchi's going to want to have a couple.
Well,
of
whoever
wins.
loses could probably forget about it the rest of the year.
So who are you going to say?
Where's it at? Cook Square.
It is.
Cooks
Hill.
I'll go Cooks Hill. I'm gonna go Cooks Hill.
Early doors.
I won't get paid on Friday, but
That's all right.
I'm going to go Crowley double for a 2-0 win over Cooks Hill.
Of course, put that on responsibly on your favourite apps.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Got 7 or 8.
Crowley, he played in Victoria, Crowley.
Yeah, did he?
Yeah,
He sure did, yeah.
Northern Sydney, maybe.
So you're going to say Cooks Hill, mate?
That's a nice part of town, Cooks Hill, isn't it?
It
Right
is.
on the water.
No, not really on the water. It's kind of... it's called Cooks Hill, but there's no actual hill. It's weird. It's flat.
Yeah.
Well, it is slightly east of there, but
Yeah. So, no, they live in a good area, so they're happy. As they are, and have 2 reasons, Maitland, the Magpies.
Yeah.
So
You say Maitland?
it's my AFL team, and Matt Thompson played for him, so
True.
I'm a big fan of
Matt Thompson, good guy too.
Maitland for me.
So Valentine, the People's Club, probably can't make the semis now, can they? Against the other inner city club that everyone talks about, Jaffers. Got a couple players back to the Jaffers, so it's going to be tough for Valentine. Who, Jaffers obviously need to keep winning because Magic on their tail.
Is Topper back yet, or are they?
Pretty sure he's back this week. Yeah.
I thought they might have been holding out for the cup, but yeah, if Topper comes back, holds it all together, they might be able to send Bond into midfield, which I think he's been terrific, young kid. I think Jaffers, I think Valentine just dropped off since
They
the
just
coaching.
they just play 90 minutes I mean,
Yeah.
120 against you guys, but
and quality players
Yeah.
coming back into the group. So yeah, I think they'll win their last few games and just pip Magic.
CT.
Yeah, I think Jaffers will get this one done as well.
Jaffers for me. Top bloke. Ex-Western United.
Great bloke. Yeah. Loves it too. Loves
Great name.
isn't it?
So is your young
Jaffers.
bloke still playing at Western United? Or
Yeah.
yeah,
Does your young bloke still play there?
No, he's left.
yeah. Where's he?
He plays for the Oakley Cannons.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah,
Heard of
good
them.
team.
Yeah,
They've gone deep into the cup a couple of times.
yeah. Are
Well, yeah, they've got Sydney FC
Yeah.
next Tuesday.
Yeah, been to
They've also got a Doherty Cup final.
a lot of players from up here have gone down and tried their luck in Melbourne in the NPL.
I'm going to say the People's Club.
Good
anyway.
league.
It is a very good league. Magic Charlestown.
That's a big one again.
This is the game. Remember last year we did it. Oh no, that was the semi where
Yeah.
it was pretty physical. I think the Azuri team dominated physically, didn't they? And to send out a bit of a warning for the semis because they have been on the wane a little bit. I think Charlestown are going to get this. But, yeah.
It's hard to tip against Magic in the form they're in. Come from behind. But Charlestown, they put up a really good performance against the Eagles the other night. I'm going to go draw.
Charlestown for me.
Your big Azuri
Obviously.
man.
Yeah, no, met the Donatos a couple of times. Know some of the people there. Obviously, Nigel, Taylor Regan, ex-Jets players there as well. So, and Azuri, Bisetto.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I didn't
We
want to.
get
I
it.
didn't want to
We get
assume.
it.
I didn't want to assume.
We get it.
You can't assume.
Forza Azuri.
You can't assume these days, Maurice. What about you,
It's a
Curl?
passionate
What about you, Curl?
Curly. Curly. Look, there's going to be that much pressure on Magic this week because if they don't win, Lambton win, there's a little bit of a gap now. We're right at the pointy end. We've got, 3 or 4 games to go? So there's only a couple left. And I think that Charlestown will actually get over the line on the basis that they'll probably be desperate, but they won't be in a panic, And with the players that we've mentioned, in goals, central defence, and what their strike power up front, great midfield. Just the transitioning between the middle and the top for me has been a bit suspect. But other than that, if they can get that right and get good service in, I think that Charlestown will get it.
Yeah, certainly. The set piece is massive for Charlestown
Fighting
too.
for the third spot as well.
Yeah, if they can force a few free kicks and corners, which they do
It'll
generally.
be a great game. Either way,
Yeah,
it's going to be.
it's always a good game.
I think that's the game we're doing actually
Yeah.
on the Sunday.
Cool.
When is it? Sunday.
Yeah. Up in the Crow's Nest at Magic.
When the Eagles play Saturday. That should be right.
Yes, you're in. 3 of us.
Well,
Morris.
Ben. What about
Yeah,
Ben Homer?
West,
It'll be 5.
Western and Adamstown.
Yeah, Morris, Ben, me, you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
5 of us.
Be awesome. I'll just do sideline.
On scaffold.
No, not a Magic, mate.
Western v Adamstown before we wrap this up. Up there, Western.
I thought they were a bit average, Western, on the weekend.
They were.
Yeah, just flat. And,
The Rocks came out.
but, Adamstown's still got a little bit to play for, whatever. There's a couple of points on offer for that, to get themselves out of that relegation zone. But I think Western will just be too strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that for those reasons as well. Yep.
Met Rod, Western.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
They've got a good leagues club there. Good meal.
What about the heart of the league? Adamstown, the oldest club in
Yes,
the
oldest
comp.
club. Yeah, Rosebud.
Yeah,
Yes.
resonates with Newcastle.
Yes. They've got the.
You can change your mind. You go for Adamstown.
It's a draw.
I won't call you what I call everyone else. Yeah, I'll go with you with a draw. For the viewers out there that love me
So
I'm
big.
going to
Straight
follow
in,
Morris's
isn't
tips.
Yeah.
I'm going to watch and follow the tips and
Put a nice
Put a
little
little
multi
multi
on. Yeah.
responsibly.
Yeah, of course. Very good. Well, thanks very much for coming in, Maurice.
Nah, thanks for having me.
We appreciate
Gareth.
everything.
Thanks.
And thanks obviously for the gifts.
CT. Thank you.
Thanks for coming
Thanks
in
very
and
much.
putting up with us. And
No,
good,
it was fantastic.
Good luck. And in 12
anytime.
months' time, or maybe
No, before.
the launch of the A-League, whatever, that week. I know you'll be busy, so maybe the week after. We'll get you back on and we'll see how everything's
Anytime.
tracking and we'll go from there.
Anytime.
Beautiful. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thanks, Gary Wilson, and
Pleasure.
thanks, of course, CT. Curly.
Well, I was going to say,
Thanks, Curly.
we've been shaking goodbye. I feel like I need to give you a cuddle after that because Newcastle's up for it. So let's get behind
Well, it's
this
good.
and
It's really good
kick,
to meet
kick
someone,
our
isn't it?
tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, it's great to have you here. And
Obviously, a couple
Very
of
exciting.
very, very big fans here and football in general as well. So it's
Yeah.
good for us to come on and have a chat.
And that's what our game needs. At least at
This
that
is-
professional level, it needs everyone supporting it. It is a good product. You've just seen,
Yeah.
Nestoria Racunda, like players. We are really developing some really good players, right? And the football's as good as it's ever been. We need to
people to come and
engage
watch.
with 2 million plus participants and all their parents and all their grandparents and their aunties and uncles, and hopefully people get along to all the games across the country and support the A-League.
Awesome.
yeah,
We will.
It's been
We'll-
fantastic.
We'll make sure
Thanks
we
for
mention the
coming.
Jets and
Anyway, stuff the other clubs. Just come to the Jets games.
beautiful.
All will be forgiven.
Thanks very much for coming on Between Two Bowls, and we'll catch you next week.
Thanks, mate.
It's Friday then. It's Saturday, Sunday.
Comes into the eye. To it, Jared with a shot. Oh, this is it!